Okay, we're back online. I have no idea. I apologize for all that mess, guys. I really do. I don't know what was going on, but it's solved. Hope everyone is doing well. Got a great crew in the house tonight. Let's see who else here. Steve Janess, Drone Shots, Gator Drone, DD Fellows, Sergeant Rock, RJ Redding. Dale's Drone is here. Let's see who else we got. Joni Oki is here. Can you guys hear me now? Can you guys hear me? Let me know. Let me know in the chat. I'm showing that I do have audio. I just want to confirm with you guys. No, it's not a Heil mic there, Droney Oki. I agree. I agree. But it's showing that I'm seeing on my end that it should be working. So let me know. Okay. All right, good deal. All right, I am so sorry about that. I have no idea. I got a new docking station, and it's been some trial and errors with it. Mostly it's been okay, but I think I had switched a couple of things around, and one of them was the cord that this was plugged into. And yeah, it gave me all kind of fits. So, but we're good now. I hope you guys are doing well. Actually got lots to talk about tonight. Had some things got released today, so we're gonna go over that and a couple other articles as well here. Just want to put in a thank you guys for letting me know you can hear me. Got a shameless plug I want to put in. We have coming up second weekend in April is the South Florida Drone Meetup. And if you want to get information on that, you can ping Ray Kelly or go out to the South Florida Drone Meetup group out on Facebook, and you get all the 411 on it. If you want to still get reservations at the hotel, I think they're still accepting them. You need to call the hotel directly to do that in order to get that rate if that rate is still available. So just wanted to get that in and done and make sure that we got that covered here. So, first of all, I want to let you guys know I did get my items from Evelyn Shannon, and I want to thank Johnny Drone Flyer for pointing her out to me and to us, the drone community as well, which is fantastic because we have access now to be able to order things through her. And the shipping did take 10 days exactly, and it was packed extremely well. She kept me apprised every step of the way. It goes China Post. So what happens is when it hits the United States, it gets into the USPS system, and it was very easy to track from there. And it was packed extremely well. Everything came. Nothing was damaged at all. And Evelyn, if you're hearing, thank you so much. Her prices are fantastic, especially on several items. I know I paid less on several of them, at least $20 less each, and she didn't charge anything for shipping. Which all in all, I mean, you can't beat that. Absolutely cannot. Absolutely beat that. Steve, I don't know. I don't know why that is. I have no idea why. If you're looking on YouTube, I have no idea why. It could be something a setting on YouTube. I don't know. You should be seeing everybody there, Steve. All right. First article that I want to go over here, and I think Ron may have touched upon this. I'm not sure if they touched upon it last night or last week, but this is something I wanted to go ahead and cover with you guys because it's very concerning. It's something that I think you need to be aware of with this. Rogue drone pilots face new FAA tracking system. What's new with the FAA Discover app? Until now, law enforcement officers relying on remote ID could only see limited broadcast data, things like a drone serial number, location, altitude, and flight path. While useful, that information doesn't answer the most important question during an incident: who is flying the drone, and why are they allowed to? With Discover, that changes. Basically, the system correlates multiple FAA data sets, including LAANC authorizations, drone zone registrations, and waiver approvals, giving officers a more complete compliance picture in seconds. A quick refresher: what is remote? It goes into remote ID. What that is. This is just to make you aware that they're incorporating new features out there. This Discover app, and it's pulling in more information, more resources. So be aware of this. Be very mindful of where you're flying at all times. Especially if you're close to a no-fly zone or a zone where there's a NOTAM that's published, or if you're for instance, if you're in South Florida near Mar-a-Lago, just some things like that. Just be aware of where you're at, where you're flying. Of course, you got to be sensitive to also to military installations as well. We have one here in Tampa at MacDill Air Force Base. So just some things you got to keep aware of. Just kind of a heads up right here. The second article here that I wanted to talk about it's real interesting, and I wanted to go over this here. FAA and photojournalist Rob Levine, the DHS drone ban just got its first federal court challenge here. Okay, the development, and this is NOTAM FTC 64375 issued January 16, 2026 creates a nationwide moving no-fly zone around DHS vehicles, including unmarked ICE cars. There's no way to check compliance before you fly. The restriction doesn't appear on before you fly, air control, LAANC, or the FAA TFR map. The legal challenge. Levine and Reporters Committee argued that the NOTAM violates Administrative Procedure Act, is unconstitutionally vague, and has a chilling effect on First Amendment news gathering rights, raising First and Fifth Amendment concerns about fair notice of what conduct is prohibited. So what? Every Part 107 pilot in the country is potentially flying in violation of this restriction right now and has no practical way to know it. The source is the Minnesota Reformer and the Reporters Committee for Freedom of the Press. The compliance problem behind this lawsuit prohibits all unmanned aircraft operating within 3,000 feet laterally and 1,000 feet vertically of any active DOD, DOE, or DHS facility or mobile asset, including ground vehicle convoys and their escorts. The FAA classifies these areas as national defense airspace under 49 USC section 4010B3. No fixed coordinates are published, no activation times are announced, no end date exists, and no planning tool shows this restriction in real time. Publishing it would broadcast the real-time location of federal agents operating in American cities. Okay, that's the core of the vagueness argument. All right, and there's Levine's history makes him the right plaintiff, and there's an article. I'll let you read that. These are posted out on Build a Drone Review. Drone XL's take. I've been checking FAA's SOSC email process since we first reported in NOTAM. As of early March, what comes back is boilerplate that refers you to the same tools that don't show the restriction. Okay, Levine v. FAA is a legal challenge I predicted was coming. The ACLU had been preparing one. The Reporters Committee got there first, and they chose the right plaintiff, someone with a documented history of navigating exactly these restrictions, someone whose chilling effect is real and proverbial, not hypothetical. The First Amendment argument is strong. The APA count may be stronger still. Courts are faster with statutory violations than constitutional ones. Okay, so in a nutshell, with this, there's two schools of thought with this, and I think one of we're trying to, while our federal agents need to have autonomy, we also need to know where they're at so we don't fly there. Okay, and I think probably what they need to do is a broad blanket area, say there's it's a no-fly zone, and just do that instead of just being vague and not telling us anything, because you could be flying over an operation and next thing you know, you have the FBI knocking at your door, confiscating your drone and putting you in handcuffs and taking you away because you didn't know you didn't know about it. So this is something you do need to pay attention to. It is out on Build a Drone Review Facebook group. I highly encourage you to read this article. And again, in conjunction with that first article that we talked about, you need to be careful where you're flying. You need to watch where you're flying. You need to be mindful of activities around there. And as a hint and a tip, if you have a police scanner at home, I would highly recommend that you get a good one. Uniden makes one, and it works around all the restrictions. It works really well. I would highly recommend that you do that, especially if you're going out flying for the day. And if you're going flying, know where you're flying. I mean, obviously, if you're flying in the country or something, or along the seashore or whatever, chances are you're going to be good. But just as a blanket rule, go out there and check, especially, take a scanner with you. Get a portable scanner if you get one, and take and listen and see if things are going on. Because if there's activity out there, you don't want to be flying there anyway. All right. And you could be violating this NOTAM. So just, that's my high recommendation for that. Okay. So that's all I'm going to say on that end. So, but yeah, you want to be careful. You want to be mindful. You want to know where you're at all times. And you want to know, especially if the media are oh yeah, Joni Oki. Yeah, that is the best scanner out there, Joni Oki. You're right. It's fantastic. Uniden makes it. It's the STS 200. It's about $500 or so, but it works really well, and it's based on your location. So, and there he is, Mr. Ron Brown. How are you, sir?
Hi, Bill. I'm live from sunny South Florida tonight. Actually, not sunny South Florida. It feels more like I'm back in New Jersey, but I am in Florida right now.
Well, I think Florida was trying to pull a New Jersey on us this morning when I woke up to go to Starbucks. It was like 45 degrees this morning. I'm like, no, no. You've had your turn at winter. We're done with winter. Let's move on. We're in spring mode right now. We don't do winter anymore. It's, yeah, I was not
Uh,
happy.
and 24 hours ago, it was 89 here in Jupiter, and today it didn't get out of the low 60s, and it feels cooler with the breeze and the rain and everything. So yeah.
Yeah, it kind of cooled things off a bit, which is okay. And the rain is always welcome, but with that the cooler temperatures, not real crazy about the cooler temperatures, that's for sure. So
It's still
let's hope
yeah,
it goes in
still
the other
better than
direction. Now, a
Still
couple
better than where I
articles
was in
that I
Lorton, Virginia on Thursday. I had all four seasons in one day, Bill. That was where we caught the auto train down. At one point, it was in the low 80s in Lorton, and at another point, we were driving in a snowstorm to the train station
wow,
all the same day.
wow,
So yeah, it
wow.
was crazy.
Um,
The weather's been, I think, it's crazy over the whole east, up and down the whole East Coast, even out the Midwest with the snow they had a couple of days ago. So it's been a bad weather week across the whole country, Bill.
Oh, it has. I know up in northern Michigan and Minnesota and Wisconsin, they had 30 inches of snow over the
Yeah,
weekend, and
yeah,
it just, I
yeah.
mean, the people were, it was bad. I got several friends that live up there, and they say it was really bad. And normally they don't get that kind of snow this time of year. Usually it's winding down, and they're waiting for everything to melt. But no, they got more snow, and that's kind of where things are. So, we just talked about this article right here. This photojournalist who filed a lawsuit against the FAA because of this, and I think you guys talked about it. Is these areas where the Homeland Security or ICE or the government is operating, and they don't let anybody else know about it. But yet, if you're flying there, you're illegal, and there's it's a kind of it's a real gray area. And I think what I think they should do, and what I said after reading this article, it makes sense. Just blanket a whole area. Do like 5-10 square miles. Say nobody flies here for this certain period of time. Period. Okay, that way you're not giving away vital information at that point, because that's what they're concerned about.
Yeah, I mean, we did not cover the article, and I've not read the article, but we've discussed this thing in the past about these no fly zones where there's whatever ICE, FBI, whatever. But of course, if it does show up the before you fly type apps, and it may not because it's happening, right at the moment or whatever, unless you witness the police cars, FBI cars, ICE cars, whatever around. How are you ever going to know this or whatever? If you do not see any people in uniforms or anything like that, or any roadblocks up, and it's not on a before you fly app.
Right, right. So yeah, I wanted to cover that to make people aware. And one of the things that I said for now, something that can kind of help you or guide you or gear you in the right direction is if you have a police scanner and you're going out and you want to go out and fly, take your scanner with you, see what's going on. If there's activity in an area, just don't fly there. I mean, that just kind of makes some sense. I mean, until we get kind of some direction from this, just don't worry about flying there, okay? Or find somewhere else to fly where there's no activity.
Yeah. I mean, Bill, I tend to go to a spot and, stop the car for a while, park the car, look around. Then I get out and I do a visual inspection of wires and anything high that I could possibly hit. So I rarely just take right off. I get the kind of a sense of the area for anywhere from 5 to 15, 20 minutes, just kind of casing the area, just looking things over before I take off. So, but again, that doesn't mean that this a minute after I take off the ground that a FBI or ICE operation rolls up then So if you got caught for this and you got this in front of a judge and a jury or whatever, and you started talking about, well, of course, I did all my due diligence to check to see if anything was in play, and nothing came up anywhere. Outside of having ESP or whatever, how was I supposed to know something was happening? A
Yeah,
couple blocks away, or maybe okay. Now, if you pull up to a full on fire or a police operation where sirens are going and there's fire trucks there, but if you walk up to say like like a FBI is raiding a house and so they just come up, they're trying to be low profile, ice raiding the house or whatever, there's no visual signs or audible signs of anything happening because they're trying to be covert. So how am I supposed to know a covert operations happening before it happens?
that's true. That's very true. That's a real gray area and a fine line, Ron. And they need to come up with something. I mean, you want law enforcement to be able to, do their thing, but yet, you want to make sure that you're allowed to fly as well too. And you need to know these kind of things. And like I
Now,
said,
I understand maybe the the kind of good the reason behind the role. Say something with the drug trade, you wouldn't want somebody in the drug cartel or whatever drug gang, with a drone down the street warning people that the police were coming down. But how long would it take them to figure out, hey, this old guy flying a drone here has got no ties to the Mexican cartels here, or whatever gang, Middle East terrorists or whatever. So I mean, I understand why it's in place, but also, you know, don't see how it's going to apply to people like us, the
exactly,
casual drone
exactly.
fly that has no affiliations with any gangs or terrorist organizations, and they can
Right.
easily roll up and see that we're not part of any gang.
Exactly, exactly. So, well, and I think we'll be fine. I think they'll come up with something. It's just we're gonna have to, kind of bear with it for now. I mean, that's just gonna
Yeah,
kind of be what we're
yeah.
gonna have to do
But
at
Bill,
this
in our
point.
article, did it report, did he get arrested or fined or anything, or did anything happen to him?
No, he's
Okay.
challenging. Evidently had some precedence with this. So he had some standing. So he went. He this article talked about that, and because I switched out of that article. Let me see. Um, Trying to get here. Levine is in test in 2016 when the FAA issued a TFR over the Standing Rock protest in North Dakota. The agency initially denied his request to fly, then reversed and granted it a limited 3-day waiver, making him the only journalist to get aerial access to the site. He knows exactly what it means to be when airspace restrictions coincide with politically sensitive federal operations, and he knows how hard it is to get a workable answer out of the FAA when an exemption process exists only on paper. Okay. Um, this new restriction stopped him cold. Seeing how these federal agents treated constitutional observers, I was truly worried that going out and flying, I could get arrested, have my drone destroyed, and be roughed up like they did so many of these constitutional observers. Levine said. So, okay, and he's right. I mean, they have access to get information as well too. They need to work it out. They need to work this fine line out between not giving the locations away to the criminals and times and places and things, but yet still allowing journalists freedom of access to be able to record things as well. It's a fine line, and somebody who has greater minds than us need to sit down and figure this out, Ron.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, just the big thing, you can't, it's almost impossible to have a no-fly zone in secret. Basically, is what this is. It's a no-fly zone in place, but it's not advertised anywhere. So you have to be a secret no-fly zone.
Right, right. So, um, we're going to kick off DJI status right here. The first thing, and it's very interesting. I mean, the timing of this, I know you guys talked about it last night, and I want to spend a few minutes talking about it today as well, too, is the anti-gravity A1 has a discount. It is on sale. And I'm trying to see what okay, they have the prices down here. the standard bundle, Explorer bundle, Infinity bundle. I'm trying to look at the price differentials here. I think it's
And they
about
basically advertise. They basically advertise it as 20% off. And I believe
okay.
there's a bundle you could. I believe there's a standard bundle bill you can get for 12.19, which only comes with
Right.
one
Okay.
battery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm seeing that right now too. So I mean, this is good, but it's they're doing this in lieu of the Avata 360 coming out, shortly, and they're trying to spur their own sales on as well. Now, what's interesting though, they did talk about here that there is a where did I see this? Did I see it here? Um, I don't know if I saw it here or out on X. That there's a firmware update that's going to be coming out shortly. It's going to be adding a lot of new features out onto
Oh,
Anti-Gravity
I didn't
A1.
see that, Bill. I didn't see that.
Yeah, there was
Um,
something out there about that it's going to be coming out shortly, and they wanted to get this out there. The deal lands just weeks before a major April software update that adds new creative tools designed to make flying and filming feel almost effortless here. I'm trying to see
well, that's good.
if they had anything here. Okay, voice control is coming, allowing pilots to trigger features like automated flight paths, subject tracking, or return to home using simple commands. It removes one or more layers of friction between the pilot and the shot. Timeline support is also being added across both standard recording and automated flight modes. The twist here is control. You can define camera angles at different waypoints, and the drone will transition between them smoothly, creating cinematic sequences without manual input. Then there's virtual cockpit, which feels like anti-gravity, leaning into a more powerful, almost game-inspired future. Users can fly with a virtual avatar layered into their footage. Think riding a dragon or piloting a jet, uh, bending real aerial capture with stylized storytelling. Okay, so
And some of
there.
that riding the dragon thing was already in the current software. So that's I mean they may expand on that, but that riding the dragon thing's been in there.
Okay, okay, okay.
And I
Well,
just want to say one more thing about the pricing, Bill. This 20% off sale seemed to be almost the exact same winter sale they had in January when the prices came down. So these prices have been available before already.
right. The pricing does sound very familiar, Ron. I think you're right. And good catch on that. I mean, they're not really going. They're trying. They want to try to grab a little bit of the headlines right now from DJI, which is going to be very hard to do at this point, because of this. And one of the things that I want to do, I'm going to start talking about the Avata 360 here is, and I know you and I spent some time on it, and we played some devil's advocate on it, and I want to talk about their marketing strategy here, okay? And what I did was, I remember from, I majored in business in college, and in some circles they refer to it as anticipation marketing. All right. And I went out to Chat GPT, and I want to read a little bit here that I found, because I think it kind of gives some perspective on things, and you kind of have an idea on what some of this means here. So I'm going to go ahead and share this right here. It's called Anticipation Marketing Explained. Okay. What you're describing is a specific phase of anticipation marketing, often called embargoed review marketing or review seeding before launch. It's when the product is fully revealed, media and influence already have it in hand, but consumers can't buy it. A strategy where a company builds maximum confidence and hype right before releasing it by testing trusted viewers, validate the product while still holding back availability. Typical flow: product is announced, reviewers get units early, reviews all drop at the same time. They probably did. A product becomes available shortly after, and it is going to be shortly after here. You see lots of videos like full review, should you buy this? Okay. Now, why companies do this: builds trust, not just hype. Early anticipation equals mystery. This phase equals validation. Independent reviews reduce skepticism, answers real buyer questions, removes doubt before purchase. You go from "this looks cool" to "this is actually good." Number two, creates a launch surge. By the time it releases, people already watched reviews, already decided, already planned to buy. Result, huge day one sales spike. Number three, decision is made before purchase is possible. This is the key psychological move. The buying decision happens while waiting, not at the moment of purchase. When it finally becomes available, friction is gone. Controlled narrative. Companies give early units to trusted reviewers, set embargo timing. This ensures accurate information spreads. Messaging is consistent, no chaotic leaks. Maximizes FOMO plus readiness. You get everyone is reviewing this, everyone is talking about it, but we can't get it yet, and the tension, peak demand. Okay, real world examples are Apple, Sony, Nvidia, DJI. Okay, why this phase is called in marketing terms, you might hear endangered reviews, pre-release review campaign, influencer seeding, launch window marketing, review drop strategy. Okay. Um, and I wanted to kind of go over that because I know, there's been some talk about why did DJI do this, and I wanted to give some background to that. We're gonna obviously talk about it here in a second, but I wanted to give some background and some thought as to their rationale, because one of the things DJI has been known for throughout the years, Ron, is their marketing, and I think that's one area. I think if anything, if any area that they've excelled in besides the actual product itself, it's been their marketing arm. They have done exceptionally well with that. They know what they're doing. They're building that anticipation, and they decided to go with this strategy right now. Because I'll tell you what, I've gotten so many comments and emails just the past few days about the Avata 360. It's like it's exploding, Ron. I haven't seen this much interest in a drone before it's come out like this in a long time. I mean, a long time. I mean, this is really
you credit that to the new marketing campaign.
right.
Okay. Because I mean, I'll say over the years, I would say DJI has done a great job of marketing their products over the years, but I'll put the caveat in the bill. But they had the best product in the market too, so it's easy to market something that's the top product in its category. What I'm saying? Again, it's easy to market the best.
Right. And I know you guys talked about it a little bit. This is like one of the next to last drones that we'll be able to get here legally in the United States because of the FAA blacklist rules being in place. And they're really the hype is incredible with this, because the comments I'm getting are just like, I'll let that money's not going to burn a hole in my pocket. It's going out day one. As soon as I can get it, I'm going to get it, and everything. And I'm cautioning people. I said, you know what? Wait a week. That's what I'm still telling people. Wait a week, and then we'll find out. So what I'd like to do right now is, there were a couple of articles today on Drone XL that went over some things that we literally just found out. And
Hey, but before you get into articles, let me ask a key question here about the marketing and all the questions you've been getting. Besides the marketing, what's driving this? Because 360 cameras, 360 handheld cameras are kind of like, they're really not that big of a thing. I mean, they're a small niche part of the action camera market that none of them have really made a big impact in the market. They're just niche players. So why all of a sudden is kind of a 360, which is a niche thing, getting all this interest in the drone?
I think because of TikTok and Instagram, Ron, you're gonna see a lot of 20 somethings, 30 somethings use this to be able to get some shots that otherwise you just could not even begin to capture. Okay, and it did talk about, and one of the things that I want, the video quality. Obviously, if you want to get a drone with video quality, you go to like an Air 3S or a Mavic 4 Pro, or even a Mini 5 Pro. That the video quality, in terms of the sharpness and pixels and everything, it's not going to be like those other drones. But what you get is that incredible 360 immersive view that you don't get with the other drones. And I think this is what DJI is banking on by putting this into this type of a vehicle. That way you can be able to get in. And the one thing right here is this first article here that actually talks about that is the immersive experience of this. And I'm going to go ahead and share this right here.
Which that's a selling point for the anti-gravity drone. The more so than actually filming or whatever is the immersive experience in the goggles.
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay. There are eight shot types DJI revealed. The Avata 360 360's camera captures everything around the drone simultaneously, letting pilots reframe footage in post-production rather than composing shots in real time. Okay. There's the forward shot, a standard forward-facing perspective similar to any camera drone. The difference is it's expected from a full spherical capture after the fact. Top-down view, a straight down ND air shot. No tilting the gimbal during flight. You just reframe to look straight down. Rear view, looking back at where the drone came from. Normally impossible without a physically rotating camera. Here's a simple reframe. Tracking shot. The drone follows a subject and 360 capture keeps them locked in frame regardless of drone orientation. Side spin. The drone rotates while the camera locks on a subject or point of interest, producing a dramatic orbit style effect. Front and back flip. A full vertical rotation. 360 capture means the subject stays visible even as the drone flips completely over. Juicy flick. A quick directional snap that creates a disorienting perspective shift. The name is clearly aimed at social media creators. Asteroid, the classic tiny planet effect. The world curls into a sphere around the drone. A one-tap post-production trick that 360 cameras have offered for years, now from the air. Okay.
So these are essentially quick shots activated from a button, Bill.
Yeah,
Okay.
And read the article here. There's some clips and some video clips. I don't want to play them because I don't want to get dinged for them.
Right.
But I do suggest that you take a look at this. And there is a video out there and a link in this article, so you can actually take a look at it. And I did, and it was very well done. Okay, and I think the one of the things that I haven't seen, and I'm gonna go ahead and address this part right now. Aldrin has it, Dustin has it, all the content creators have that. The ones that usually get them have gotten this, and you can go out there and take a look at it ad nauseum. Okay, there's so many videos out there. I did spend some time watching Dustin's. Okay, I thought Dustin did a great job with things. I didn't look at Aldrin's yet, but I thought Dustin did a great thing with this, and he kept it real simple and straightforward. And I think that's what you need to keep in mind. But the one thing that I'm really waiting on, Ron, is for somebody to walk people through the process, okay, of doing this reframing. All right. And what you need to do with the Mimo app, and take a this is what we're gonna walk you through step 1, 2, 3, and 4 on how you reframe your shots before you even load it into Final Cut or DaVinci, so you can be able to process it. And I'm hoping that somebody will go out there and do that, because I think it's gonna be well. Now, from what I understand, the Mimo app is updated where it can do this seamlessly, like you've talked about before. With the Insta360, that they have that app that will do that, and I'm hoping that it's the same case here. And I believe so. I believe that's from my understanding.
Well, Bill, how you get a jump start and all this? Just go watch somebody's that has the Osmo 360 from DJI, and if they have an editing tutorial, whatever, I'm sure it's going to be very similar for the Avata 360 as it is the Osmo 360 in the software.
Right.
As far as reframing everything, you can get a big head start just by watching somebody reframe Osmo 360 video.
Right.
But I caution anybody that's never edited 360 video before in their life, unless DJI gets the best AI editor where you just press a button and do it. I was kidding Marcus. He likes to put up 30-minute videos. I said, Marcus, I can't wait to see your 30-minute reframed 360 video. It'll come out next year after you get done editing it for a year.
Yeah. And I think you need to keep this in mind, okay? Because it's not going to be your normal cup of tea. And if I'm not mistaken, I think DJI has a tutorial on this, or they will have a tutorial on it. One of the things that we found out today was that there are actual two versions of the Avata 360, and one's a 4G model that won't work outside China. And the whole idea and the whole concept of the 4G model, okay, and what it's done is in case there's a loss of signal, it's meant to extend that signal from the drone to the controller, okay, is simply what that does. But this will only work over in China. It won't work in Europe or anywhere else. This is specifically for that. And it talked about the DVN 3NT versus the DVN 3XT split, what each model actually is. It shows it right here.
Right.
The DVN 3XT is something different. The Chinese designation translates to Enhanced Video Transmission, DJI's internal name for its hybrid OcuSync plus 4G LTE system. Rather than an external dongle added to the aircraft, the XT builds a cellular module directly into the drone's body. DJI used the same naming convention for the Mini 5 Pro, which has a built-in cellular module and distinct hardware SKU rather than an accessory add-on. The practical difference matters where OcuSync signal degrades behind a building, long-range, congested RF environment. The 4G link kicks in automatically and keeps the video feed and control link alive. For professional operators flying in urban environments or beyond line of sight when permitted, their redundancy is meaningful. At this point, it remains unclear what price premium the DV3NXT comes over with the DVN3NT, okay? Regional lock pattern has shown this before, and again, they talk about that. The U.S. picture, it was never an option. American pilots can set aside any XT questions as covered in detail here. Only the 3NT appears in the FCC database, authorized November 19, 2025, the day before DJI's authorization window effectively closed. Okay, so it's not, it won't be approved. So you can't really even get one and fly one here legally. Just to let you know, if you guys see this out there, okay, and you try to bring it in here, okay, that's a no-no. Okay, you can't do that. And it may be available for sale, but if you're doing it, you're flying illegally, okay? And you don't want to face the consequences of them coming and knocking on your door, okay? Because it will not be pretty, all right? Just to let you guys know, okay? You're hearing it first from here. Don't do this, okay? Do not go out there and buy this. It's not worth it, okay? And from what I understand and from what I've seen with some of the videos already, Ron, I don't think range should be an issue or a problem with this, with the Avata 360.
It's got the 04. It has 20 kilometers. So, and I mean, they probably don't want consumers having the 4G over here because you're supposed to fly within line of sight. Why would you even need a 4G module in a country where line of sight goes for almost all hobbyist pilots?
That's true. That's very true. That's very true, Ron.
I mean, in this country, maybe enterprise or big business that has beyond line of sight waivers, maybe it could be something for them. But and remember, we have better range than they do in Europe or whatever. We're on the U.S. range is better than Europe, so it's not really needed over here for a consumer. I
agree. And
I guess if you're flying behind buildings or something like that, would help with signal loss. But you're out of line of sight, anyways. You shouldn't be flying that far behind buildings. That
it was available. I mean, maybe a couple of years ago on some models, but it was never pushed or tried to be pushed here in the United States to be sold because we really don't have that kind of problem here in terms of that signal dropping. All right. And I think a lot of it has to do with radio frequencies and where these are set and everything. And, what Ron said makes sense. Don't concern yourself with this at all. This is just kind of like an FYI, kind of a nice to know. You can just bank it and move on with it. Now, I do want to go ahead and cover. Now, this was the main article.
One parting shot. I don't think China has a line of sight regulation like we do.
Okay, that's a good point, Ron. That's a real good point here. DJI Avata 360 league pricing undercuts Insta360 anti-gravity A1 by more than $1,000 ahead of March 26 launch. Okay, The development leak pricing from a European retailer first reported by Jasper Allen's Drone XL on March 11th, and Chinese supply chain sources on Weibo placed the Avata 360 drone at only $459 in Europe and $29.98, $426 in China, with EU shipping expected around April 9th. The so what? At these prices, the Avata 360 makes the anti-gravity A1 look like a luxury item. The 939 Flymore combo with RC2 costs less than the A1 drone alone. The U.S. situation, no official U.S. pricing exists. Based on DJI's historical 15 to 40% markup over Chinese prices, the base model likely lands around $489 to $528. The Flymore combo near $999. Official figures will be confirmed at the March 26 launch. The source, European retail leak, first reported by Jasper Ellens on Drone XL. China pricing via Weibo leaks reported January 2nd. Spec via leakers Igor Bodanov and Jasper Ellens. Okay. The Avata 360 leak pricing covers and SKUs across Europe and China with a drone only entry point of $459 in Europe and $426 in China, plus combo configurations reaching up to $1159 for the top tier premium combo with goggles N3 and RC2, all well below the Insta360 anti-gravity charges for a single unit. And this is the European prices right here, you can see. And they're also talking about a replacement lens kit, the battery, the premium combo. Now, here's the China Weibo leak, which, again, these aren't official. And in US dollars, the pricing is over here. The United States estimated no official pricing yet. Drone only $489 to $528. Flymore combo $999. Premium combo $1,100 to $1,333. And battery $80 to $91. Again, these are all estimated as far as that's concerned. Now, the Avata 360's estimated U.S. entry price around $496 puts it at roughly 31% of the A1's cost. At the top tier premium combo at $1,159, still come in below the A1 standalone price while including goggles N3 and RC2 controller. Okay, the math here goes beyond competitive pricing. DJI is positioning the Avata 360 to make the A1 look overpriced before a single review unit ships. Drone XL published Jake Sloan's review of the anti-gravity A1 in December, and he found it genuinely capable, but at $1,599, it was always a product buying time. The Avata 360 is the clock running out here. This 360 ran a 15% promotional sale in January, which we covered at the time, and of course they're doing that again now. A discount that size ahead of a known competitor launch reads less like a standard promotion and more like preparation for a price war nobody wanted. DJI Avata 360 specs with the leaks confirmed. Sensors dual 1/1.inch CMOS, 64 megapixels each leaked, not yet officially confirmed. Aperture f/1.9 leaked. Field of view 200 degrees per lens leaked. Video 8K 360 degrees spherical. Camera module tiltable, switches between 360 and FPV mode, single axis mechanical gimbal -60 to +60. Stabilization 360 degrees digital. Flight time 25 minutes, estimated from battery capacity, not yet officially confirmed. Transmission occupancy 20-kilometer range. Lenses replaceable, 21 apiece, the first time on any DJI FPV drone. Lens protection, camera rotates during takeoff and landing to avoid ground contact. Comparable hardware, DJI goggles N3, RC2, RC Motion 3. The replaceable lenses deserve a closer look. One of the biggest practical complaints about the DJI Osmo 360 was the vulnerability of its fixed lens. One hard landing and you're in for a repair or replacement, which is kind of funny because they're talking about the Osmo 360. At $21 per lens, confirmed in Jasper Allen's March 11th price list shown, DJI has directly addressed that pain point. Early FCC filing analysis also noted the camera physically rotates during takeoff and landing to shield the glass from ground contact. That's a real engineering decision, not a checkbox feature here. DJI Avata 360 US availability, the FCC situation explained. It's talking about how it's making it one of the last drones. Well, we know the Lido still hasn't come out yet as far as that's concerned. DJI filed a lawsuit against the FCC on February 20th. We know about that as well, too. Drone XL's take. Say none of this is accidental. My prediction by the end of Q2 2026, Insta360 cuts the anti-gravity A1 to $999 or announces a successor. The $459 drone only price makes the current $1599 positioning untenable when the Avata 360 on shelves and review units are in the wild. January sales, Insta360 already telegraphed that they saw this coming here. So March 26th market. So what are your thoughts on all that, Ron?
Well, Bill, I was corrected in the chat. The sale that Insta360 anti-gravity had in January was 15% off, and this sale is 20% off. So they've already upped it. And you mentioned that they predicted in the chat. Do you agree? Do you, after the Avata 360 is released, do you think we'll see even deeper price cuts by anti-gravity to stay competitive?
Oh yeah, absolutely. They're gonna cut this thing to the bone because they want to make sure that they try to get this market share, Ron. So in order
So
to do that,
if you are interested in anti-gravity A1 now, this don't bite now. Wait until the next big price slash. Is that what you're saying?
right. And you
Yeah.
can, I mean, it's gonna play to consumers' advantages here, Ron, because let's say you want to, you're interested in the anti-gravity because of the goggles and because the setup, and you like that immersive experience and you like everything you've seen.
And forget a real key point. It's under 250 grams.
Exactly. And that's exactly what I was going to say. It's under 250 grams. So our friends in Canada and over in Europe, this is going to be very friendly for them as far as regulations are concerned. So, if in those areas, if you guys are listening, be patient, wait. If the anti-gravity has been on your radar, it's going to come down here. Just wait for the Avata 360 to come out. And, and also too, the beautiful thing about what DJI has done with this, Ron, let's say it's around 489 or so just for the drone only. Okay, you can buy additional batteries. You're going to have more than likely have a compatible controller with this already at home. Through the other drones that you have purchased. So you're really only probably purchasing a couple additional batteries, maybe a charging hub for the battery, and that's it, and you're good to go. You don't have to spend enormous sums of money.
Unless you're a first time drone buyer. Then all that's
Yeah,
out the
well,
window.
if you're a first time drone buyer, you're going to get the Fly More combo and probably spend the $999 or $1,000 to do that, and it's going to be worth your while because you'll get the 3 batteries and a charging base and probably a case and so forth. Maybe even a replacement lens is already included in there. I don't know, but you'll have those options available to you as a first timer, and especially here in the United States because it's going to be something. I think it's going to be groundbreaking, Ron. I think it's going to really kind of shake things up. And I think that's why DJI has taken the approach that they did with their marketing of this and how they've gotten things out early and they're getting things out and they're getting people really pumped up for this. Okay. It's almost like, people are standing there, the proverbial guy with cash in his hand, knocking on the door with his mouse button saying, I'm ready, DJI, just tell me when it's live because I'm throwing my money down and I'm going to get one. They're building that anticipation. They're building that desire even more stronger with their marketing techniques, Ron.
And it wasn't there for the anti-gravity, even though they did the same thing. They pre-released the drone in August. The influencers had it. They built up anticipation, but they took so long to release it that reverse anticipation worked on people were saying, where is it? You've been showing it for months and it doesn't come out, so it's funny how the drones are different. Bill, let me ask this, what maybe important question here. When the DJI drone is out and people do the comparisons with the anti-gravity, will the video quality matter? I'm just making things up here. Say the anti-gravity, the video quality is better on it than the Avata 360. Will that make any difference as far as sales?
I'm not sure, Ron, because the whole concept of like the Avata 360 and the anti-gravity A1, it's not to shoot normal video. All right. If you want to have normal video, you have your whole DJI ecosystem and Potensic and Sky Rover and, ad nauseum. Okay. But you're looking for a niche product here or a niche customer. Okay. One that's going to want to do something on Instagram and see what's going to be very cool is for the Instagram and TikTok crowd. They're going to see things that you would have never seen on there before from this. And it's gonna be super easy to process. To get a 30-second or a minute clip out there when you run it through, say the Mimo app, it's going to be like snap like that, and you're done. And you can have just a breathtaking shot, and all you did was hit the record button. You didn't do much of anything. You dumped it into the Mimo app, pressed a couple of buttons, boom, there's your video. I mean,
So the
you make
video
it.
quality is as important as the tricks you can do with it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's going to be. I haven't seen the process, but I imagine it's got to be super straightforward, Ron. I don't think DJI's going to do something like this without putting something out there in the Mimo app to make this a seamless process, and also have a tutorial to back that up. I don't think that they're going to go through all this, because they know there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be new to 360, and they're going to want them to feel comfortable and embrace this. Okay. And I think where you're going to see a lot of this out there is you're going to see people posting like crazy. You're going to see YouTube shorts. You're going to see Instagram videos. You're going to see TikTok videos out there, and just, a minute, minute and a half kind of a thing. And people are going to just absolutely eat this up. I mean, flying over a waterfall is a whole new thing right now. Or, you're out on a lake, and, you can do one shot going one way, one going the other way, that kind of thing. It's limitless possibilities with this, Ron. It really is.
Yeah, I mean, of course, the anti-gravity's been out for a couple months now, and I mean, I see videos like that, but I'm not swarmed with them. But here's another question, Bill. A lot of people buy the 360 cameras, the handheld ones, and it's a lot of buyer's remorse. They get returned in big numbers, the 360 guys, because people get a home and they can't figure them out. So, will there be buyer's remorse with the Avata 360? Say you say your typical drone user who's never had a 360 camera, he gets his home. He doesn't really figure out the whole 360 thing. He doesn't want to work hard at it. So now he's got a drone, and he's not a goggles like you. He's not a goggles guy. He's not a 360 guy. So he's got this drone home that, drone now that costs him whatever, $500, but it doesn't fly as long as his mini drone. The video is not as good as the mini drone. So why would he fly this over his mini drone if he doesn't take full advantage of that 360? It's kind of a useless drone at that point, right? Because you've got better drones that are under 250 grams.
Right. I mean, the Mini 5 Pro, for example. Okay, you're gonna get a much better quality video and still photography.
Better flight times.
Better runtime on that. Just the whole 9 yards. You have obstacle avoidance on there. Just the whole slew of features on there. And and it only starts at $759. I mean, you're pretty much there. So it's going to be, people are going to have to do their research on this, and that's one thing that I always tell people who are first time drone buyers. What are you looking to do with this? Okay, do you just want to make YouTube shorts, Instagram, or TikTok videos on this? Do you want to do a full length video on something like this? Are you using it recreationally? Are you going to be using it commercially? Do you want to film things? I have a whole laundry list of questions when people ask me, what kind of a drone I should get. And I reply back in kind. I said, if you can answer these questions for me, I can be able to better guide you as to the kind of drone that probably will interest you. And then, one of the things that I tell them is, when you're looking to buy something like this, all right, I would wait until it comes out on Amazon. And the reason I suggest that is, as as well as I do, it has a very liberal return policy. I said, because, you may find that this may not be the drone for you. And then, no questions asked, you can get it back to Amazon and get your money back for something like that.
Right. Versus, where the eBay sellers in South Korea, they don't want to return 3 weeks later.
Right. They're going to, they'll say they take returns, but wow, go ahead and try to return something. I've been there. Okay.
Just because you don't like it.
Yeah, you got to be real careful with that, okay, when you're doing something like that. So, if you want to wait a few months down the road, well, look with the Mini 5 Pro. They waited long enough, and it ended up being on Amazon, okay? And I'm sure it's going to be the same case with the Avata 360. You wait long enough, it's going to be out on Amazon and available here. And that's one of the other things that I suggest for people who are maybe on the bubble about this, is you may want to wait a month or so and go out there and watch a lot of videos, okay? And try to find videos, especially if you're new to 360 cameras, that show you how to do this pre-production processing in the Mimo app, they go through a detailed explanation on doing that, because until you're able to do that successfully, you can't bring that into Final Cut Pro or DaVinci Resolve. You got to be able to do that, and
Yeah.
you
And
got to be
Bill,
able to.
let me flesh out for the audience what you're talking about here. Bill's talking about putting a 360 clip in a bigger video that's not 360, and that is the tough part. The easier part is to edit the whole video in the 360 editor and send it right out to YouTube or whatever. But the hard part, what Bill's talking about, is taking just a piece of 360 video and including it in a bigger video that's not 360. That's the tough part.
That's true, and DD Fellows makes a good point here. A
Yeah,
lot of
yeah,
people will be, yeah,
yeah.
by the 360 editing on 360 drone. And DD felt that's a great comment. And I
Bill,
think
what I'm looking forward to is when the drone does get released. And I don't care about the influencers and the people that got it early, whatever, but the people that paid the money for it. I'm going to be interested to see how long it takes them to get videos up. You know what I mean? Because when we buy
hmm
the Mini 5 Pro, you go out flat the first time and put the video right on YouTube. It happens overnight or whatever, right? But I'm going to see how long it takes for people to figure out the whole 360 video and get their stuff, post to YouTube. Now, this drone does have, they call it the single lens mode, where it can film just like a regular drone. So I bet you we'll see video from the single lens before we see the 360 video posted by the end users, the people that
You're
paid for the
probably
drone.
right, Ron. I think that's what a lot of people are going to go out there and maybe for a first flight experience, because that's one of the things too. I would suggest with a drone like this, and I always do this no matter what drone I get. I fly it up about 10 or 15, maybe 20 feet in the air. I go forward about maybe 100 feet. I move the stick backwards. I go left. I go right. I test. I move it up. I move it down. Make sure all the basic controls are working, and especially close to the ground, because if something happens, it's going to happen close to the ground, which will be good. It won't happen from 150, 200 feet up in the air. Make sure all the functionality and controls are working like you want them to work. All right, and
Yeah.
before you
I even
start.
go a step beyond you. I'll hover it over a soft surface, 20 feet or less. I may let it hover there for 2, 3 minutes and do nothing with it, just to see how it hovers before I even do
That's
the
a good.
testing
That's
you
a
just
that's a
said.
that's a really good practice, Ron.
Over
Especially,
grass or some place where if it fell, it would just hit a soft surface.
yeah, that is a really good practice, considering I've had other drone brands, which I won't name, toilet bowl on me. When I've done that, and that's not a good, that's a real stinking feeling when you have that happen, and you don't expect that to happen with a DJI drone. Okay, you expect them to go out, and I know a lot of people, more often than not, I will go ahead and I'll run all my calibrations and everything before I get out there and I fly that drone and make sure the batteries are fully charged. I gotten a good signal on it, the right number of satellites and so forth before you do that. And I would actually, what I would do with something like this is I would maybe, and this is just me, I would maybe like do some 360 filming, but walk it through your house, physically walk it through your house and walk back and take that clip off there and see what it's like to process that. Okay. Before you go out and fly for real outside,
Hey,
and see what it's like.
Bill, put recovery drones comment up there about 4 comments back. Um, you know, I do what he does too about that. But Dre, I'm about 50-50 on the AI. Like I hit the AI button, for my 360 video, and maybe 50% of the time it produces a video that I think is okay, and 50% of the time it throws that garbage video out. It takes all the worst parts of what I shot and includes it. So I'm about 50-50 in AI. I hope DJI makes great strides in the near future on their AI editing buttons and their apps here. And if I get the money together, I'd love to join DD Fells. He's planning to drive the Moab in Utah, which is one of the most gorgeous places in the world for his maiden flight. I'd love to have some money to join DD for that maiden flight in Moab.
Yeah, that does sound very, very, very good, DD. I would love to see that video when you get it ready. Please let us know about that. I mean, that's gonna be really,
And
really
he
cool.
be one of the guys we can count on. He'll have both drones, so he can do some side by side comparisons between the Avata 360 and the anti gravity. And the good news is, I believe Didi is going to be at the South Florida drone meetup next month in April. So Bill will be able to meet him and talk to them about some of this stuff in person. And one more, I know we're running low on time, but we're overtime, Bill. Quick question: do you think we'll see an Avata 360 flying around at the drone meetup next month? Because that meetup will be about 2 weeks after the 26th.
That's true.
So if somebody has one, they're probably not going to be under NDA anymore, right? After the 26th.
Yeah, they won't be under NDA at that point. I think March 26th is probably when the NDA probably gets officially released. That's just a guess on my part. I don't know. But I think that's probably when that happens. Now, remember, the date that it's going out to the rest of the world is April the 9th, which is right. I mean, 2 days before the meetup's on that weekend.
Is April 9th the pre-order date or the date that it'll arrive if you pre-ordered it?
I think that's the date it's officially available to everybody else outside of China.
Okay, and I heard about pre-orders. Will that be the day you could pre-order, or will we be able to pre-order on the 26th?
I think you'd be able to pre-order on the 9th, but I'm not sure. They could pull one of these things where you could pre-order it on the 26th. I don't know. But again, this pre-ordering is not going to be for us. It's going to be for people in South Korea, Japan, and so forth.
Those people are the people we would most likely buy the drone off of if we're going to get it first, the eBayers in Asia.
Right. Now, DJI, they could pull a fast one on us and say, okay, we're going to start letting product into the United States now. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Here's your gift, and hand it over. So we don't know. We don't know about that, Ron. I mean, it could happen. It's just, I doubt it. I'm just saying, that could be one of the things. I mean, we're seeing a surprise from DJI, the way they're handling the marketing on this. Who knows? We may get surprised, and they may say all of a sudden we might start getting them.
So we're 9 days out. So next Tuesday's show will be the last show before the we'll say the worldwide release or whatever on the 26th. So we're counting down now, Bill. So
we got the official countdowns underway.
We'll probably know even more next week before next week's show. So I know you're probably going to wrap up here. We're at the 9:07 mark here.
Yeah, I think we're about done. Any final thoughts here, Ron?
No, I mean we've been talking about this Avata for so long, Bill. I mean, we've heard about the unofficial leaks and rumors almost back to last summer. I think we saw leaked photos of what we thought prototypes of this drone before we even saw the A1, right? This drone goes back on the rumor scale before the A1. So this is one of those things, even though we credit their marketing for talking about this for the hidden marketing, this drone's been on our conversations since last summer when we saw it in some of those fuzzy pictures on tables beside like the Neo and stuff. So this, I'm going to say this is a long train coming, Bill.
I think, you make a lot of sense with that, Ron. You really do. And, it's something there's been, it seems, we always will say, this is the most hyped drone we've ever covered or anything. But, with the Avata 360, it could be one of these drones that's really going to have a significant impact and a significant, on what we do as, drone reviewers and drone enthusiasts and drone hobbyists and commercially, what we do with this. It's going to be very interesting to see what comes out of this. I'm really excited about it. I think a lot of other people are, and it's going to be an incredible look at an incredible drone. So everybody, I want to thank you guys. Thank you guys for bearing with me at the start here with my sound mix up at the beginning. I had no idea when the world went on, but it's working now. And I want to thank everybody. As always, guys, it's a great day to fly. Take care. Have a great rest of your week.
Good night.